Hi, so this is the second video about cumulative frequency, and this one is going to also look at box plots because box plots use a lot of the same information that come from a cumulative frequency diagram. So this is the graph that we used as an example last lesson. So this is a cumulative frequency graph, and it was showing the weight of 80 cats. Okay, so we worked out the cumulative frequencies and then we plotted it on a graph, and we used our graph to work out the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile. Okay, so the median was 3.1, the upper quartile was 4.2, and the lower quartile was 2.2. Now I've added some extra information over here on the right. So the lightest, smallest cat in this sample weighs 0.6 kilograms, and the heaviest cat weighs 5.8 kilograms. It's an absolute beast. So now we have that information, we can use the lowest and the upper extremes, the bounds, with the lower quartile, the median, and the upper quartile to draw a box plot for this data. So let's do that. We can use the scale that is our x-axis, our weight axis, for our box plot. So it works really nicely if we just plot it straight underneath. So 0.6 kilograms would be about there. The next line is the lower quartile. So that one would be there. The median, so directly below the median, there. The upper quartile, there. And then the last line that we put on our box plot is 5.8 kilograms, so the highest value. So there. Okay, so every box plot has 5 lines, and then we need to join them up in a certain way so that the centre we turn into the box. So we join up the lower quartile, median, and upper quartile lines like that. Okay, and then we use the extremes. We join those up with a line like this. Okay, box plots used to be called box and whisker diagrams, and they're sometimes still referred to as that in questions because you have the box and then the whiskers going to the upper and lower bounds. So that is a box plot to represent the weight of these cats. Okay, and box plots are useful because they show us the distribution, the spread of the data. So each section of our box plot is 25% or a quarter of the whatever we're talking about. So here, because there were 80 cats in total, 20 cats are in this section here, 20 cats are in this section here, 20 cats are in this section here, and 20 cats are in this section here. Okay, so you might be asked to draw a box plot following on from your cumulative frequency graph. And the other thing you might be asked to do is to compare data in box plots. So I'm quickly going to draw another one. I'm just going to pause the video, and then we'll talk about doing that. Okay, so we've got 2 box plots now. So let's say that these are 2 box plots. This one is from our question up here, and that's the weight of the cats at the Whiskers Rescue Centre. And then the one below shows the data from Feline Friends Rehoming Centre. So things you might be asked if you're given box plots like this, you might be asked to read off the medians, the quartiles, the upper and lower values for the extra one. So if you were asked to do that, the median is this middle line here, okay, and on this one I'd say that's about 3.25 maybe. The lower quartile, so that's the lower quartile, and that's 2.6ish maybe. And this line here is the upper quartile, so that's 4.55 maybe. And then this is the highest value, so the heaviest cat in this case, so that's about 5.9. And the lightest cat, the lowest value here, would be about 1.4. Okay, so you might be asked just to simply read off numbers like that, or you might be asked to compare data and comment on it. So you might be asked things like, at which rescue centre are cats heavier? Okay, so in that case, if that was the question, I would say the cats are heavier at Feline Friends because they have a higher median, and then you would state the medians. So you'd say the median at Whiskers Rescue Centre is 3.1, the median at Feline Friends is 3.25. You could also comment on the quartiles because they're both heavier at Feline Friends, and also the extreme values out here are both higher. So all of the data points for this box plot are higher. So that shows that on the whole, the cats at Feline Friends are heavier. You might also be asked something like, at which rescue centre are the weights of the cats more consistent? So if you're asked something like that, then you might compare either the interquartile range, so that was the upper quartile, take away the lower quartile for each one. Here they're fairly similar though, so that's not that helpful. Or you could compare the range, so that's the biggest value, take away the smallest value. So if we were to do that, the range for this one would be 5.8 take away 0.6. So that's 5.2. And the range for Feline Friends is 5.9 take away 1.4. 4.5. So the range is smaller for Feline Friends. So on the whole, the weights of cats at Feline Friends are more consistent, okay, because the range is less than the range at the Whiskers Rescue Centre. So there's lots of different questions that they could ask you. It's good to comment on an average, so the median in this case, or a range, so the interquartile range, or the actual range when you're answering the questions. Okay, so there's 2 questions attached on a worksheet that you can have a go at, and get in touch with your teacher if you need any help.